Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into how to create what gardeners literally call black gold. And the best part, it's a powerful superfood for your soil that you can make for free right in your own backyard. I mean, think about that for a second. What if you could take all that stuff you normally toss out, your kitchen scraps, your yard waste, and turn it into something incredibly valuable for your garden? Well, it's not magic, it's composting. And honestly, it's one of the most powerful things you can do for your plants. So what is it exactly? Well, you can think of composting as nature's own recycling program, just put on fast forward. It's really just the process of letting these tiny microorganisms break down things like leaves and food scraps into this rich, dark, amazing smelling stuff that totally revitalizes your soil. Okay, so what's the big deal? Why do people get so excited about this stuff that they call it gardener's gold? Let's get into the promise of compost. Here's the bottom line. When you make your own compost, you're basically creating the absolute perfect environment for all that organic stuff to break down. You're turning waste into wealth for your soil. And you know what the best part is? You control everything that goes in. That means it's 100% natural, no weird chemicals, and you're using materials you were probably just going to throw away anyway. It's a total win-win. All right, just like baking a really good cake, making great compost starts with the right recipe. And you know what? This recipe is surprisingly simple. You just have to get the balance of a few key things right. The whole foundation of your compost pile comes down to balancing two things: greens and browns. Your greens are full of nitrogen, which is what gets those microorganisms growing and multiplying. And your browns? They're full of carbon, which is pure energy for them. Seriously, think of it like this. The greens are the fire, and the browns are the fuel that keeps it burning. So what does this actually look like in your backyard? Well, your greens are all the fresh, wet stuff, things like your grass clippings, vegetable peels, coffee grounds, and your browns are the dry, kind of woody materials. We're talking fallen leaves, straw, shredded cardboard, even old dried-up plant stems. I bet you have plenty of both of those laying around right now. Now, listen up, because this is the golden ratio. This is the secret sauce. For a healthy pile that breaks down nice and quick, you want about 2 parts of your browns for every 1 part of greens. If you can get this balance right, you're going to avoid a slimy, smelly mess or a pile that just sits there. This ratio is your key to success, for sure. So beyond just the ingredients, you have to think of your compost pile as its own little ecosystem. You've got your organic matter, the greens and browns we just talked about. Then you need some minerals, the right amount of water, those all-important microorganisms, and, of course, plenty of oxygen to keep everybody happy and working hard. Okay, you've got your ingredients. So how do we actually cook them? Well, the first method we're going to talk about is the simplest, lowest effort approach you can possibly take. Yeah, this is basically the set it and forget it method. You just make a pile or get a bin and toss in your yard waste and kitchen scraps whenever you have them. There's no turning, no checking the temperature, nothing. The only catch? You gotta be patient. It definitely works, but it takes a long, long time. But hey, what if you don't want to wait a year or two for that good stuff? If you want that gardener's gold a whole lot faster, there's a more active method that gets you amazing results in just a fraction of the time. And I mean, look at this difference. It's pretty staggering, right? As you can see here, cold composting can take up to 2 years. But with the hot and fast method, you can have beautiful, ready-to-use compost in under 2 months. That huge difference in time really comes down to just one thing: being a little more hands-on. So here's the game plan for hot composting. First, you've got to gather enough stuff to build a pile that's at least 3 feet tall, wide, and deep. That size is really important for holding heat. Then you layer your greens and browns. Keep it moist. You're looking for the dampness of a wrung-out sponge. And here's the most crucial step. You have to turn the pile with a garden fork about once a week. This pumps in that vital oxygen, feeds the microorganisms, and keeps things cooking. Of course, even if you have the perfect recipe, things can go a little sideways sometimes. But don't you worry, the fixes are almost always super simple. Let's tackle the most common problems you might run into. Ah, yes, the #1 fear for anyone starting out with compost: the smell. If you walk outside and your pile smells less like a beautiful forest floor and more like, well, a garbage can, there's a very clear reason why that's happening. And the fix is incredibly simple. A smelly, slimy pile almost always means you have too much nitrogen, so too many greens, or not enough oxygen. All you have to do is mix in more browns, like dry leaves or some shredded cardboard, and give that pile a really good turn to get some air in there. I promise, the smell should be gone in a day or two. Okay, on the flip side, what if it seems like absolutely nothing is happening? If you dig into your pile and it just feels dry and dusty, your whole decomposition process has probably ground to a halt. It's simple. Those tiny little workers can't do their job without water. A dry pile is a dormant pile. So the solution is easy. Just give it a good watering. Remember, you're aiming for that perfect consistency of a damp, wrung-out sponge, moist but not dripping wet. And now, after all your patience or all your hard work turning, we get to the absolute best part, harvesting that finished product. So, how do you know when you finally struck gold? Oh, the signs are unmistakable. Your pile won't be warm anymore, and just like it says here, all those original ingredients, the leaves, the peels, the clippings, they'll be totally unrecognizable. What you have left is this dark, crumbly, beautiful material that has this amazing, rich, earthy smell. This finished product is called humus, and it is the absolute foundation of healthy soil. It acts like a sponge, helping your garden hold on to moisture, and it slowly releases this perfectly balanced diet of nutrients to feed your plants exactly what they need to really truly thrive. So if there's one thing to take away, it's this. You already have everything you need for a healthier, happier garden. The very best food for your plants isn't something you buy in a plastic bag. It's something you make right in your own yard. You're not just getting rid of waste, you're literally creating life for your soil. So what are you waiting for? Go make some gold.